All right. Well, here we go. My name is Nadle Petit-Dieu, and I am a acrylic painter, watercolor painter. I paint based on emotion. I paint based upon how I feel. I want to leave the world with a message, so everything that I paint has to have something to it. So I guess you can call me, heck, anything you like. It's so much easier for everyone else to do this. And I'm just like, whew. All right, okay, let's try that one again. Art is goodness. It is everything, man. A way to get the message from one person to another. And I think that's really what I use it for. The story is kind of long and convoluted, but I started back in the third grade because I was watching the movie Titanic, and it so boring. But back in those times, people weren't necessarily like drawing like naked French girls. They were drawing, half-dressed, super buff guys that could throw like laser beams across the screen. Like that was kind of the big thing at the time, and that's kind of where I got my start. I want to say back in like middle school, high school. So like sometime around the age of like 13, 14, I started recognizing like this is something that I really love to do, and really started putting some effort into like learning how to become better at the craft, like trying to draw things more intricately and incorporate more values and tones into what it was I was doing, more realism, if you will, into things. And slowly but surely, yeah, art became a thing to me in life very early on. Even before that, I think I was like drawing with like family members and cousins and stuff like that at like the house, creating stories and whatnot. So yeah, I guess it's always been important. My style right now is a very like colorful mixture of things. It is a blend, man. Like I typically like to incorporate color into my pieces because I mean the world is colorful, like there needs to be some kind of representation for that, realistic, surrealistic. That's kind of what I'm like hoping for. My work it's realism with a touch of surrealism, if you really want to like box it in, But I think art styles are always changing, constantly evolving. Like you might like fresco one day, and then the next day you want to do impasto, and then you switch from impasto to whatever. There's so many ways that it can go. So a group of artists that really wanted to be artists, and I think that's truly what we have here. A strong group of artists that genuinely have put some thought, some effort into creating pieces that truly deserve to be debuted and shown to the world, and that is definitely what we got. So I got what I hoped for. I definitely got what I hoped for out of this program. So more than happy. Really, the concept of motion is where I kind of began. I kind of thought about like what it meant to go from completely still to running 100 miles per hour, so that concept, that idea, so it was inertia into potential into a burst of energy. So my first piece is called Inertia, and it's my start to my series. Concepts can genuinely be anything. It really just depends on like how you say it, how you portray it, your perspective on things. And I think that's something that is the strength of a lot of artists. They have the ability to see things in a way that a lot of people may not think of. And this is sort of me throwing my hand at explaining, I guess, my understanding or like my view on the concept of it, concept of motion. So I chose it for that reason. In the spirit of developing skills, why not try something different? I'm using oil pastel and I'm using watercolor. Watercolor is something that I've always thought was super interesting, but I've never really like completed a like actual piece for. So yeah, it was fun to do that. The same thing with oil pastel. It was tough because oil pastels require a lot of like scrubbing, but ultimately I think it was fantastic. You know, I think that it was great to be able to like do that and get feedback also from peers. That was also really, really fantastic as well. When I first started the piece, I was thinking to myself that I wanted it to be like there's like a whole entire like world outside of the canvas, but what we're catching is really just a moment of just rest, I guess. Not really like harping on the idea of like, you know, like leaving the world behind, more so of just like, if you just stand still for a moment, the world is passing you by. So that's kind of the idea of like stillness, inertia, you know, like momentum is like a whole thing, inertia is like dead stop. So you just kind of take a minute and, you know, take a break, rest. That's what it's all about. Okay, so as I started working more on like not necessarily just the piece but the concept itself, it did become like more intricate. It did become like more involved because like the idea of like going from stillness into motion, adding potential in there. Potential could be like, it's potential, it can be anything. So I think that in the midst of kind of like trying to define what potential was, I think I kind of like dived into the concept and kind of found a deeper meaning inside of it. And that deeper meaning of just kind of like, you know, the idea of like potential and being like, you know, like you could do, like you could stand up from this chair, you could like do a handstand, you could clap, you know, you could almost mirror it to just free will in general, right? Like the will of an object, the will of a person, you know, potential. It's kind of what that became, and that's the evolution of that concept for me. So one of the challenges that I had is that while I was working on this series, I wanted part of the canvas to feel as if it was like leading you into the center of the canvas. And I was like, man, how do you do that, dude? Like, and like obviously like the use of different kind of compositions can definitely align with that. You've got your triangles, you know, like that can definitely, you know, draw you in, but I wanted texture to go along with it. So ultimately I chose to add like a modeling clay to the pastel piece that I was using. I did add a little bit of acrylic in there as well to kind of like get the tone in there, or the hues rather. That was a challenge for me, figuring out exactly how I was going to do that, and also getting it to look the way that I wanted it to. That was kind of tricky there. Like even now I feel as if there's stuff I can do with it, so it's a challenge. I want to say towards the end of like the first piece, because I ended up adding like gold leaf to the first one, and I was thinking that I was gonna add more, but I'm not sure anymore. So like, yeah, like you know, potential. It's the will of the canvas. We'll say it's the will of the canvas. We don't really know. I'm pretty hard-headed. I bash my head into things. Oftentimes it'll be like, stand back, take a look at it from afar, kind of squint, take a look at it from, a different perspective. I guess that's really the thing there, just taking a look at it from a different perspective. If you ever get stuck on something, kind of like, heck, flip the canvas around. Anything to get out of the current mind frame that you are in. That is how you can break yourself of like being stagnant in something, because new ideas arise all the time. So it's really just your outlook on the situation, I believe. I care a lot more about people completing their goals. Like, I care about it more than I thought I did. That's the real statement there, because this whole entire program was basically so that way people can complete their goals, their artist goals, and being someone to, like, I guess, help facilitate that for them is pretty big. I genuinely feel a sense of pride from being able to, like, help people achieve those art goals. It was the same thing when I was an art instructor teaching people at the sip and paint, to watch someone be like, oh no, I can't do this, and then by the end of the class they're like, oh my gosh, it looks so good. Yeah, dude, you had it in you the whole time. It was you, dude. You could do it. And that's the thing that I love, that feeling, like helping someone get across that bridge. That is full of success. Nom nom. I started seeing people come in with their pieces, and the pieces were following along with what they had set out for themselves. It clicked to me that, like, oh man, we're doing this. We're making it happen, dude. These pieces are rocking, dude. We're doing it. So, like, I was very excited about that moment there, seeing the artwork come in and seeing people get excited about seeing other people complete their pieces. It was like, oof, let's go. So for me, that was the click. That was the thing of like, all right, we're going. So yeah. Using the modeling paste to add that texture into the canvas. It's something I've never really done before. I've never really used this palette knife before. That was something different. I mean, I've seen artists use it all the time, but it was never really something that I thought that I would be using. Stuff. I'm an acrylic painter. I don't mess around with that stuff. But it's definitely something that I can see myself doing now. That's for sure. Like, it's pretty cool. I was surprised at how easy it was to use the palette knife, dude. Listen, bro. There is something to be said about when peanut butter jelly, ham, cheese, milk cereal. Yeah, man, that's what it felt like. It felt that this is great, bro. You could just throw on colors wherever that was what it was like. It felt exactly like that. And I was very surprised by that. I was very surprised at how comfortable it felt to use modeling paste and the acrylic blended together to create that impasto kind of look. It is something that I genuinely feel like I might be doing again in another piece, because it's sincerely really cool. So I give it to all of those impasto painters out there. You saw something. You had a vision. That's awesome.